Hello, you're watching Ellie from Elementary Paper Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. I thought today I'd have a play with some dies that I got from the Sale-a-Bration catalogue. So this item was free with a £45 spend. It could have been a £90 spend. I got several and I can't remember which. But it's a huge set of dies. It's double-sided, as you'll see. Fantastic set for free. Can't get over it. And it actually coordinates with a beautiful stamp set that's in our annual catalogue. And that's called Shaded Summer. So the two coordinate, so you can make beautiful cards using the two of them. However, today I'm only going to use this little flower here for a different project altogether, but it just shows you how versatile all the Stampin' Up products are and how they all work together, regardless of whether they are actually made to coordinate with a specific set. They usually all work together with all Stampin' Up items. So I'm just going to take that die out now and pop it into my little tray so I know where it is when I come to use it. So the other item I'm using is this beautiful collection of DSP. Now I have used this once before in a demonstration. It is just fantastic, beautifully foiled designer series paper, and all come in the 12 by 12 sheets. There are 12 sheets of 6 designs. However, I say 6 designs, it's really 12 designs because they are double-sided. So one side is beautifully foiled. I have shown these all in detail before, but I will quickly just flip through them again, just for you to see in case you didn't see the previous video. I think that's lovely, it's sort of Art Deco look. And at first glance, this one doesn't really seem to be something that jumps out, but actually it's got a beautiful gold shine to it and the little black dots in between, and used on a small project this really does look stunning. And of course this one, which I think could be my favourite, I know it's been very popular with lots of other demonstrators. And then of course if you flip them over, you've got more designs, and this side isn't foiled, but I think you'll agree they're equally beautiful and so versatile. These papers really can be used for so many things. The foiled side is particularly lovely for any Christmas projects that you're thinking of doing. Okay, so that's enough drooling over the papers. Now let's get down to the actual item I'm making. So I've got a couple that I've actually made previously. So my first idea was make a little booklet type box to house 3 Godiva chocolates. Now I came across these, never heard of them, never seen of them, but I was looking for something to make some little favours with, and I found these in Sainsbury's, and they came in a pack of, I believe it's 16. So what I'm doing is I'm covering the actual chocolate sticks in the DSP that I'm going to use to cover the finished project. So as you can see, these I've actually already done. So that was the first one I made, and it had this little clip which I rather liked with a little tiny magnet, and I've hidden the other magnet underneath this designer series paper so you can't see it. And the other one I've popped on the top here. It was under a little tiny piece of paper which seems to have moved, but it does keep it closed. That's quite nice. And then I made a further one in the same paper, and I forgot to add my little clip with the magnet. So I used a belly band for this one. And actually I think I prefer this. So this is the one I'm going to make today. So it's the same style, but with the belly band instead of the little magnetic clip. And I just thought the little flower added just a little something to it. So that's the one I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to be using my trimmer. Just move my book out of the way that I'm referring to for my measurements. So I'm going to be using my trimmer to do the scoring. Lost the pieces of paper there. And for the actual box base, my card measures 3 7/8 of an inch by 3 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to move the cutting tool right out of the way. And I'm going to score all the way around at 3/8 of an inch. Now, really useful thing on this trimmer is you've got a small amount up to 1.5 inches to measure on this side. And that's really useful for small measurements. So I'm just going to bring it up to the 3/8 of an inch mark, close down the cover and score. So I'm going to do that all the way round. On 3/8. So while I've got the trimmer out, my second piece of card is the piece I'm using to make the sort of cover of the book, if you like. I've called it the case. And that measures 5 5/8 by 3 3/8. Now I'm going to score this one at 2.5, and then I'm going to turn it and score it at 2.5 again. And then I'm going to move it 1/8 of an inch along, and I'm going to repeat that until I meet the previous score line that I've done. I find that's easier than remembering how many times I've got to score it. So what I've done is I've made a kind of ridged hinge, if you like, to wrap around my book. So I'm just going to make up the box first because that needs to dry. So I've scored it on this side, and I'm going to fold and burnish on the opposite side. Dear, dear, dear. So just fold and burnish all the score lines using my Stampin' Up bone folder. You can buy bone folders in everywhere, all different prices, and you know, I had a few before I joined Stampin' Up, but I actually got mine free when I joined up. Incidentally, when you join as a demonstrator, you always get free gifts from Stampin' Up. There's always a deal, and this came with it, and it's the best bone folder I've ever had. And I found that it's exactly the right length for me. It fits in my hand really well. And when you use this, it's not till you use something that you realise how good it is. And what I like about it is it doesn't bend. It's really rigid. I have some other bone folders that are very flexible. And when you're trying to get a good burnish on it, it's bending and you don't get a good finished result. So that's something I would really recommend. So I'm going to come in, and because this is a rectangular box, not square as I've done before, I'm not going to just rotate 90 degrees and you always work on the bottom right hand corner. I'm going to do opposite sides. So that's my first one there, and then on the left hand side I'm going to cut up that line again. So I'm doing the same thing but just on the left hand side, and cut those little wedges out, and then I go over to the other side, cut out my wedges, and over to this side. It's always easier to cut a little bit out if you fold up the bit that you're not cutting up out of the way. So that's my little wedges all cut out. And then I'm going to bring in my little friends, my mini pegs, and bring up my 4 little tabs and see if I can go careful with my adhesive so I don't get too much. Well, that is the secret. Do not squeeze at all, and just secure all of my tabs with a peg. And leave that to dry. So then I'm coming back to my case, and it is a little tricky when you've got score lines really close together, but I find if I just put my finger inside and then just push on the outside towards those little score lines, I can tease them up. I don't want to really burnish them. I don't want any harsh lines here. I just want a kind of soft curve. So my reason for scoring it was just to soften that edge to get that sort of rounded effect like that. And that's all I want to do there. So while it's still flat, I'm going to add the DSP to the front and the back. And the size of that, 3 1/8 by 2 1/8. So I'm simply going to add some glue to the back of these. Yeah, that's definitely the secret. Do not squeeze it, just let it come out on its own. And it does come together really quickly. Just pop that one on like so, and that's our cover prepared. And then to actually cover the sticks of chocolate themselves, I chose the same DSP again because I want the whole thing to match, and this is measuring 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. And I put some DSP just on one edge, and that's the edge that's going to actually stick down. And I've sized this so that I can make that stick exactly in the middle at the back. I expect some people think I'm being really picky, but that's just me. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but please just wrap it round and stick it down however you want to do it. So I've just put that one underneath. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's not impossible, and I think it's worth doing this. It really adds to the finished project to have these all matching inside your box. So I've actually already gone ahead and covered 2. So I think they look so sweet all together. Right, let's bring our box back and make sure it's all stuck down. And we can pop in our little chocolate sticks, which will fit perfectly. So they're snug, but they're not difficult to get out. There's room to lift them out. And then all I'm going to do is place the box inside the case, and I think you'll agree that fits beautifully. Now you glue this up to the first score line, and try and get an equidistance between the top and bottom. And there is deliberately a nice overhang here so that it does look like a book. And that's it, that's placed beautifully. Oh, incidentally, I didn't say this is Smoky Slate cardstock. I thought it would go really well with the silver and the grey of the designer series paper. So that's the base of it made. Then the belly band, I've just cut a strip of cardstock 1/2 inch wide. I didn't actually measure the length. I just, you know, I think actually it's probably the width of a piece of A4, which is 8 1/4. Yes, it is. But I just thought I'd start with a piece that was too long and just wrap it round. So what I've done, I didn't miss that bit out, sorry. I've just taken my bone folder and very lightly curled it like that. Because again, I don't want any sharp folds in this at this stage. So then pop it round there so it fits nice and neatly round here. Keeping it straight, and it's really easy to do that because there is a line in this pattern. And then I'm just going to allow it to overlap about, oh, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so, maybe slightly less, and cut it. And then gently wrap it round again. And again, I will line it up on the line in the paper so that I know it's straight. And then I'm not going to do this tightly, I'm going to do it so that it will still move up and down. I'm just going to glue it Okay, so just put some weight. I'll turn that upside down to dry and just show you with the little die. That's some of the other shapes that this die set cuts out, just to show you when I had a little play. And I'm going to use a tiny little piece of this designer series paper to cut out another flower. So I'm just going to use a scrap. I'm hoping I'll get it out of this tiny weeny little bit. Oh, it'll just fit there. So just bear with me a minute and I'll get this cut for you. So that's cut out really easily, and it did just fit neatly into that tiny bit of paper. Okay, so then I can just bring in my book cover again, and I'm just moving it to where I would like that to be, and then I'm using that flower to cover the join. Now, as I say, I didn't want to make any harsh score lines, but I'm just squaring that up at the edge there so that it will stay in the right place. And then I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of glue to my flower on the front there. And I am going to revert to my fine tip applicator for this because I don't want too much glue on the back of this flower, because I don't want it to accidentally stick to my designer series paper, otherwise this won't slide up and down. So let's just pop that on there like that. And that's my finished little chocolate stick favour, I might call this, chocolate stick favour box, I don't know. So I'll bring in the two I've made previously, and I think you'll agree it's a lovely little gift somebody would like to receive. And I should probably go ahead and make a couple more in different designs. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. If you'd like to purchase any goods from the catalogues, this is my online shop, and I'll attach a link to this underneath the description box if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on my Facebook channel, you'll see a link to my shop at the top. I'd be really happy if you subscribed, shared, liked, click the thumbs up, press all the buttons for me. It would really help with my YouTube channel. Thank you again for watching, everybody. Bye bye for now.